Hello, I'm Joseph Crudup, and welcome to my storybook. Today, I'll be reading this book called TD Jakes Before You Do. This is part 3 on live stream. So now, I'm going to read this book. We're doing the we're reading right now. Let's say I read chapter 2. So now, this is chapter 3 in this book. Chapter 3. Before you leave junk in your trunk, it is ensured not so much by the position one has reached in life as by the access he has overcome while trying to succeed. In which speaks and covered with the opportunity to visit with an old friend. He's someone I know since my boyhood in West Virginia, kind of friend who feels like family. So when he offers to pick me up at the airport, I agree and look forward to catching up. After exchanging greetings coastside, my friend grabbed my bags and rushed to dispose them in his trunk. This proved to be a more daunting task than either of us had at the penalty. The trunk was full, and he began unpacking them and mailing lost and found items belonging to every member of his family, including the dog. Out came a set of old golf clubs, a wheel from his daughter's tricycle, a soccer ball, an emergency toolkit, an old moth-eaten blanket, two pairs of running shoes, first shoe toy, briefcase with a book in was invented, something, voices bags, empty cups, and waffles from the bar food court. My friend stolen it and slammed it, and then both of us bust out laughing and until tears rolled from the corners of our eyes. Can't see. My friend said, looks like I got some junk in my trunk. I truly had to suggest to support to laugh or my now squad. I was laughing at what my children would have understood. The phrase junk in the trunk to me, a woman who tongue to describe it, a broody like Beyonce traveler's figure Espelifal's junk in the trunk. I don't know how this, even though I am a minister. I would be lying if I said I didn't know what it means. Looking at my friend who was built with the messing truck, trying to arrange auto garbage, and hearing him criticize the junk in the trunk almost made me howl. Man, not gonna make me howl. If I say I didn't know what it means. Looking at my friend who was bent over the mess and trying to arrange his auto garbage, and hear his chapter, him criticize it as the junk in the trunk almost made me howl. His backside jingular and his trunk lip walking and was enough to take me into Tula on Brazer's hypnotizing. This definitely was not a Beyonce model. I knew for sure that he wasn't the kind of junk in the trunk that anyone appreciated. As we drove away, my bag somehow waiting in the back seat. I assure my friend that I know his quite a lot stays well and have been there and done that. Instead of telling him what my shoulders have been shaking like I have Parkinson's disease. I knew I needed to help my friend feel less self concussion about his junk. So I reassured him that I knew what it was like to particular live in your car, rushing from home to walk to the gym, to church, and playing coffee for to little kids in the midst of it all, with so much rushing, commotion, smacking, drinking, and chuff-fuzzing. Our cars can sometimes become like monitors, landfalls, moccasins of our present season with all its demands, destinations, and demarcations. But my friend has so much junk in his trunk that when he wanted to use his trunk for storing something he wishes to transport it, there simply wasn't room. Can you relate to this? None of us, deliberators, sets out to use our cars as dumpsters. We don't internationally scouring clothes, the kids' toys, and Burger King rappers in the trunks of our hair and our hard-earned SUVs, or this car, happy bags, and the back seat, or wherever it is our cornet mall on transport promotion. The junk just incompetence as we live our lives until we realize that there's not now enough room for the mountains we do wish to take with us. The amazing thing about my friend's trunk was the contrast with the outside of his beautiful Volvo. It was once enriched in a way that anyone would have been proud to ride in it. However, the outside doesn't show you what is inside. It reminds me of what Jesus said about the Pharisees. He said that outside they were clean, but inside they were filled of dead man's bones. Matthew 23, verse 27 through 29. You see, nothing about. I know some people who look for better on the outside than on the inside. They have junk in the trunk, the kind that smells in the relationship and undermines what could have been because they refuse to discard what used to be. They refuse to discard what was. Desires to clean house. When faced with significant opportunities, we often find our voice impelled by emotional and physicality, bagging from the past that in place are real. For some of us, that means that we keep getting into relationship with the working kind of person. We keep getting caught in a cycle of interactions that trap us in a retired or daily drama. Our past disappointment, satisfaction, and desperation had created a script with the actors or actress may change, but the role they play stays the same. Perhaps this is why the divorce rate goes up from 50% to 67% for the second remarriages, second marriages, and catapults to 73% for dual marriages. U.S. Cancers 2002. The data revealed that instead of learning from their mistakes, more people repeat them. I suspect that each time they start over, they clean the outside, but that trunk is still carrying on past experiences into contemporary relationships. For others of us, we find ourselves trapped in an unhappy workplace, an environment that we are afraid to leave. Because of the junk in our trunk, we can't see below the short-term need for the paycheck. Our vision of a border professionally promoter becomes escalate by our feeling We postponed decisions about going back to school and finishing our degree, looking into our career fields, or asking our supervisor about a promotion. And when we do seek a new position, it does no good to change jobs. If we retain that lever with no regrets, then you must clean out the junk. Then you must clean out the junk in your trunk. Let go of the past. Doing so will provide you the necessary space to say, breathe, and maneuver. You often won't know what you don't have, let alone need in your life, until you can clean the mental and emotional wound to explain the here and now. This process reminds me of a cable reality show cable reality show I caught one night on Suffering Channels. The program is called Clean House and Fishing a Dear Friend of the Family, Nancy Nass. Well, escalates into engage. Nancy in our newly released movie based on my novel. Not easy blocking. Nancy has the ability to lead everyone in distance. Everyone in sense for some of those homeowners who do not want to remove any other affairs that had gathering and harboring like a pack rat. Pack force. The homeowner indicated the main items that need to be discarded or sold in order to reconfigure what could be a lovely home for them. Nicely, and a team of cleanup experts selected a household that need a spring clean and refreshable today. More times than not, the homeowners had grown attachment to something that they don't need, but let the course or resolve to release it. This home in question was piled with food, furniture, clothes, knickknacks, room after room after room. What was especially interesting was to me was the cost of the homeowner's misleading. As the clean team interacted with her, she revealed that she was still gathered at the death by divorce of her marriage and had become paralyzed by the thought of changing anything in her home. Her divorce had been so dramatic that she feared making any other changes in her life, even if they threatened her well-being and satisfied the lives of the whole children still in the home. With the homeowner's permission, the clean team went through the entire house and began the process of creating a new, happy environment for her and her family. They removed all the trash, clutters, and items that will belong to repair. They softened and saved items, but still have values for the buy sale that would in turn genuine resources to find new pieces of furniture and the overall renovation. Had these shows in with the dramatic reveal moment when we viewers are as stunner as the homeowner to see the beautiful new actor environment. The situation on this program was no less predicted or dramatic in its revelation of a clean, clutter-free, intense terror. The removal of the advanced evidence of unneeded items alone reveal the beautiful and functionality of many of the lovely features already in a home. From there, the decorators and designers had used furniture and other accessories that both complement these features, as well as refacing the style and the function of the home. and possessionaries of the inhabitants. I guess they don't call them reality shows for nothing. For the heart of what made this show compelling. The constantly that keep my finger from tricking and clicking to the next action movie, ball game, or news program was the human element towards anyone's relentless, the desire to change, and there is no greater invention for change in your life than exercising the very willpower you have on each and every day to execute your different decisions for the ones that got you where you are now. Kinds of junk, physical and emotional. There are two kinds of there are two different kinds of junk, physical and emotionally. And both kinds of junk can bring you down. Physical junk is the kind we execute in the back of closet, and when we need to quickly write a note or action when the power goes out, or in our home office where we can never find the tax records or the internalization of cards for the school trip or the garage. We can never put our hands on the concentration candles to keep the mosquitoes at bay. If we are not the kind of person who tends the Sacramento dispose or islands on a regular basis, Lawhorn is probably full of physical junk, unpaid bills, old newspapers, magazines, and other recycling accounts you hold on to from friends or lovers you no longer speak to broken advocate at the politics or garden tools you may to have fits but never get around to, or those projects you just need a really day to complete. The street you're going to night for the infant nice when you now who is now 7, and so on. It is hard to infrastructure or that isn't neat and organizing. In fact, living with physical junk in your house is chaotic and spills out into other aspects of your life because you can't even find the car keys in the morning since there are barely in the culture or unimportant mail and take out minutes on the kitchen counter. You are always late for work, even intentionally, and this can cause you to appeal upon unprofessional, or worse, could lead to losing your job. Maybe your kitchen is disorganized, and you keep buying items you already had in the fridge because you can't see what's already there. Not only does this make meal preparation and family time feeling and frantic and stressful, but it also leads to wasting food and precious dollars that could be better spent elsewhere. Physical junk is not only in order to stop over and trying to making live around, but it takes away from the quality of low life, and that of low families. Making progress and organizing and regular activities is time well spent. Make it a family after assign rooms or zone to family members and make them responsible for keeping their around neat. It will save you time and money in the long run and give you and your family peace of mind and a place to truly come home to. Mental and emotional junk is the regrets we have about past mistakes, the grooves we hold when we feel we're being done wrong or hurt while hiding under clouds or anger. Cycle this and recycle this mental and emotional junk when you can't literally see it or touch it. can raise you down mental as well. If you are the type or to hold groups or hand on the past mistakes, if it's your own, then you know the feeling of being weighted down by mental junk. It is hard for the relationship to mental junk keeps you stuck in the past. If your old boundary has hurt you, you will never let that hurt go. Each time you meet low men, there's something similar you will react to them. Already the new mate is left feeling upset and confused that low over the top reaction to a small infraction that on its own was insignificant, like house cleaning to keep our homes free or physical junk. We have to focus on keeping low mental and emotionally house clean and in order as well. Praying, journaling, mentoring, and exercise are common ways for you to be sure your emotional issues or the past aren't stepping over seeping into your current relationships. These activities help you remain confident in them inside, help you process issues as do come up. It's best to talk to those you are in a relationship with in kindness, truth, and honestly. That old age though, love means never going to be to bed angry. It is a good water for keeping melted John where it belongs. Out or low trunk and in the trash. Decide to discard. Many people are concerned has started having a relationship before letting go of things that should be discarded. I call this conditioning spiritual back level compatibility. You likely know that as psychopure describes people who had internally relationship with dead people. Look, who wants to sleep with dead people? Yes, people do it every day. Maybe not limitarily, but they do it frequentarily when they hold on to their issues, past experiences, and or unhappy unforgiveness. How can someone love you when you are in love with the dead? As dark as think as a compass. These people are emotionally, weakly, although remaining or toxin issues that they seem unwilling to release. They keep the drama alive by rehearsing in it, reliving in it, or doing whatever they can do it to keep the fire burning under their issues. And relentless feelings, feelings, pearl that emits impetuous smell wherever someone new tries to come around. Often an unclean house, homeowners had a difficult time with Chrysalis grandma's pink pale sofa or the others no longer saw any real purpose other than to hold the hugs of the mirror that has failure like a dead flower presented between a page of a book. Once the homeowners are cherishing and confronting with the reality of the cementing surroundings, others not only collected emotionally dust, they usually let go and allow the album to be sold or given away. You may need to have your own inner garage sale. I encourage you to look in your emotional closets and see what needs cleaning out. I hope that you have no dead relationships long enough, but if you do, then I and the monitors lead you to let them go and bury them. You must make room for new life and segregations that no longer serve the purpose. The one between low ills, Genie was. No one but you knows what triggers attack. Unforgiveness. Some people think it will help you. It does not. What it does do is not for the benefit of a person you want to be with. or hurt you. Forgiveness is gift you give yourself. Do it. You don't hurt yourself from the past and free your soul to escape the dismotions and experiences that let their life for again. Test your mind for worry. If you find that you are thinking the same thoughts several days in a row, you aren't thinking, you are worried. Stop that right now and make the decision in your mind to move from rehearsing the same thoughts to resting in your mind until something fresh comes. Like the short dismoralized stage, when people find it hard to sell all militarily, it may be painful to part with our old emotional habits. Ultimately, however, the release is liberating and allows you to have new experiences. This is the point in your life to consider to discard the ills that affect you. You can only find the power to do that as you become convinced that there is more life in front of you than there is behind you. He can help you with your junk. Dealing with junk isn't as easy as it sounds. Acknowledging Eastern physical partners, like furniture proposed to physical things, high energy. They can represent all relationships, which could mean all hurts and disappointments. For example, if you are holding on to a photo on your own love would lie to you, or jewelry from the man who left you from another woman. Each time you look at the physical love, whether you are conspicuous or not, you are reminded of sadness and pain. You may be holding on the other dollars given to you by people you love, the parents or siblings, for example. Other image glorification, even though you don't have room for them, or they don't really reflect who you are now in your life. We have made the decision to clean away the physical junk. You don't have to do it alone. Ask a licensed party for help. Choose someone who has no emotional intact to lower items such as professional organizations, straightforward friend, and let them and help you let them. So many organizations and causes in the world need all the clothes, books, CDs, and other items they had to give away. It is often helpful to think of plugging a physical junk as a way to give the others are less visible. After all, you probably don't really need four black wool sweaters, but honestly, but a honest person somewhere definitely does. About to jump like a divorce, the death of a loved one, serious illness, depression, or childhood traumas often leave us feeling angry, hopeless, or worse. The only way to release our lives is to make a achievement decision to do so. And sometimes we need help. Of course, the love, listen, and support of a good friend or family member may be all you need. Like the Beast's song says, I get by with a little help from my friends. But friends, while often well meaning, often bring their own issues to the table and aren't always the best at giving us unconditional support. So if chatting in with your best friend over the afternoon cup of tea doesn't work, and you find that your mental or emotional junk has your feelings out of sorts, considering talking to a member of your cloud and mental health professionals such as therapists or counselor or journal support. Knowing that there are others who understand your feelings and support don't unconditionally can be very clouded and leave you feeling like you lost Rocky Road. Often, often the incarnation, a junk end of trunk, feels like a white side tumbling down on us, trapping us for the rest of our lives. But we do not have to stay burdened by the burdens of past mistakes. In fact, once we begin lifting them off our chests and placing them aside, we discover that we are owning pebbles that can be easily swept. Always, if we were owning trying to see down a new light. Let so many of us keep seeing those rocks as unsurmountable. A great legend tells of a man named Sisyphus. He was being punished by the gods. Each day he brought a lost rock up a steep hill, a task he was doomed to repeat endless because once he reaches the summit, at the end of the day, the rock will back down to the valley from which he has started. Breaking these kinds of cycles requires making a decision. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you may have to manage the circumstances from which you have come, or how distantly you fell from the childhood dreams that once brought to you. If you want to change, you can. You have to you have you have to want to move on with your life. It won't happen overnight and it won't be easy, but the ancient of our desire for the better life that gather at you just before the eyes flicker and you shrink into unconsciousness. Each night will not go away unless you take action. And before you take action, you must decide to do so. Do not wait for a health crisis, job terminations, or loss of a loved one to catalyze your desire for lasting change. Before you can catalyze it, you must capitalize it. Create a vantage point that allows you to look into your past without fear, blame, shame, anger, bitterness, or self-reproaches. Become the person God created you to be. Like a sea captain getting rid of the weight that bugs down the cruise. We must cast aside the weight that so easily beats us. We must find a way to clean out the trunk, remove from the past, and bring in the future past, and to leave us intact to the dead after it's supposed to losing the deep scar to indicated to the direction in which you travel, or the volatility at risk progress. It's far too heavy, weighing down the trunk, and slowing down the progress. It will impede the law joint and leave you spiritually, largely, and emotionally inert. Unpack low trunk. Just as the trunk in your trunk, just as the junk in your trunk did not suddenly appear there overnight, removing it requires some time and practice as well. Some items need to be discarded and thrown away. You may have relationships that need to be sold. Others may partners some far closer in order for you to move on. The relationship itself may clearly be dearly put departed, but mm, you still waiting in law. Don't be surprised in some cases if this closure involves written giving a princess to the person with who you are ending the relationship. One man I know had bought a beautiful ring for the woman he loved, only to be betrayed by her. He couldn't return the ring and didn't want to poison another relationship by giving it to someone else. Some months after he and his betrothed moved in, they had broken up. He realized he wanted to write her a letter and send her the ring. It wasn't so much that he wanted this woman. He had hurt him so deeply to have the ring as much as it was his desire to relieve himself of the survival of what might be, have been. Other junk simply needs to be put back in its proper place, like my friend's golf clubs was had their spot in his garage. Some uses aren't going away, but can be continually. If you are supporting an adult children who have returned home, you must not allow them to distort every area of your life. You and your spouse find a way to keep a date night, to spend time alone enjoying each other's company without trust those over into your evenings and weekends. Then it's time to talk frankly with no bars about low workload. If you are again parents, then you may need to find interdimensional support to ensure your own mental child and health. Happy relationship bonders can be excellent way to ensure that that John does not trunk errors of the life. Alice never someone to relive down or down junk. You may need to relentless God over the past mistakes that a loved one continues to lose as a loving masculinity. Concerning a couple in which the husband had once might have on a flattener on a business trip. I found both husband and wife willing to deal with this bouncelessness or to make their relationship stronger. The husband singularly regretted his first mistake and desired to make sure it never happened again. He asked his wife's forgiveness, and she said she'd give it to him. However, nearly 2 years later, they visited me again, and their marriage was in far worse shape than when I saw them. The wife clearly had not forgiven her husband, and in fact relentless upon his betrayal her gave her. She now controlled every move he made and had him believing that he desires disrespect and mistreatment. They have reached a circular point in their relationship, it'll return to being flawless. Forgiving partners with equal standing or go their separate ways. Whether it's our children, men and partners us by playing our failures and guilt for not being there when they were growing up or chasing the dream that our father had for us, but which was never our own dream. It's time to return to junk. Sometimes junk is about procrastination. When you when you think about the things you want to do, it's just a matter of considering you would want your life to go, and then ask taking steps to do what you need to do in order to get if you want at a particular job but aren't qualified. Perhaps you need to return to school and get into additional training in this education. Maybe you always dream of being an entrepreneur and start your own business, and now you need to find ways to get financial support or what the advice and counsel of the mentor are already working intentionally. Think through what's holding you back. Consider what you need to get well, physical or mental, in order to make room for what you need to add in order to reach your destination, and then get busy doing it. Whoa. Once you eliminate the junk in your trunk, you can begin to research your needs and repack only those tools and items that are useful and helpful for long journey. Most drivers like to have spell tower and the necessary tool for changing their flat. If your trunk is so full of this matters, you may not have room for the essential aid that will ensure a smooth journey. Seasonal travelers know that they have to be prepared for the road ahead. In their trunk, they might also include emergency items in case there is experiences or the starting by incremental wear, a blanket, flares, bottled water, and power balls. The war was anticipated what they will need in the worst of situations and prepare accordingly. Where we return to our life trunk should be similar in considerable to future learning or preparation for what lies ahead. It is amazing how much better you feel when you are not afraid for someone to look in your trunk, in your heart, because you had gotten rid of what had limited you or embarrassing you. My prayer for you is that the Holy Spirit would do a nicely nice in your heart and make over for the soul and allows you to decide to get rid of the things you have in communizing that dismantle you as an eventual change there will go. As an explorer or as a sponge, why don't you take a moment and list the things you know you have to let go of? Ask someone close to you to point out things that you may not even be aware of. They had looked up at cleaning threat until there is no place in your heart that new companions, new friends, or even new employees cannot go. Love bumpers was the grease spiller, the grease bringing, and the interest fresh. It was that junk in the trunk that had to be released. Much of mine is straight. You had no junk in your trunk. That's all for the third chapter of this book. And this part 3 series of TD Gates before you do. Tomorrow we'll be doing the part 4 of this book that starts on page 63. Thank you. I will see you for tomorrow's part 4.